Hello and welcome to Forbes India presents Transforming Global Retail powered by Tesco. I'm Ridu Bhandari. On this special show, we are talking about the global business services industry that is likely to grow from $1.8 trillion in 2022 to $2.5 trillion by 2025. In India too, the GBS opportunity continues to be huge, and in fact, Tesco was one of the first movers to leverage India as a shared services destination. So today I'm in conversation with Sumit Mitra, CEO of Tesco Business Solutions. That's the arm of Tesco that enables its worldwide operations with data analytics, key insights, and agile growth. In fact, Tesco Business Solutions has recently been lauded with the prestigious award of World's Best GBS 2023 by SSON Research and Analytics. Sumit, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us here today. And first up, big congrats on winning that award.
Thank you very much. It was a real pleasure and honor to receive this award. So yeah, we feel incredibly proud to receive this award, actually.
As you must, and we'll talk about that in just a bit. But let me begin from the beginning with a little reflection. Tesco Business Solutions came to India in Bengaluru in about 2004. Obviously, a lot has changed in the last 19, 20 years. But if you were to look back at the last couple of years that you've been in charge, what would you say are some of the highlights?
Yeah, if you think about the shared services and outsourcing industry, it almost started about 30 odd years ago. And Tesco was one of the pioneers in terms of setting up a shared service center in India around 2004. Like every other company, the whole obsession was around reduction of cost and how do you do it in a low-cost location. And India was seen as a destination of choice for a lot of those organizations. And then it kind of, we kept moving and bringing in more and more roles, whether it's technology, whether it's business process. But over the last 5 years has been a shift change in terms of our outlook and how we really want to leverage our center in Bangalore and make it a global GBS, really. So I joined in late 2017, and what we did was it was very much focused on building a 5-year strategy of being the best in class. So how do we convert ourselves from being a shared services into a GBS model? So the first 2 years of my journey was around, we called it Vision 2020. It was around setting up the basic ingredients, or I call it brilliant basics of a GBS model, which was about having the right governance and control, having the right risk management culture, building your transformation engine through your digital transformation capability, creating CI as a culture, service management framework, and really build that foundation for us to kind of catapult ourselves to become the world's best GBS. The second phase of our strategy was called Mission 23. It was about really unlocking value and creating an obsession around creating value for the Tesco Group. Because if you think about a typical shared service or a GBS, it's no longer about driving its own efficiency, but it's about how do you unlock untapped value opportunity within the group and create value upside for the business. And then, like I said, the whole evolution was around being from a shared services to a value-generating machine that creates value and creates shareholder value for the Tesco Group.
Right. Yeah. So indeed, a very a journey that has, I'm sure, had many milestones. But tell us then, what role does India particularly play in Tesco's global growth and operations? What is it that is happening out of the India offices for the rest of the world where Tesco is located?
Sure. So in India, we are in India across 3-4 different areas. So number one is around, obviously, our GBS center in Bangalore, where we support both business process as well as our technology, innovation and technology capability from our center. The second piece is around sourcing. India is a sourcing hub. So we have a number of procurement and buyers who help source products from not only just from India, but around India, like Bangladesh, etc., Sri Lanka, to kind of support the business. The third thing, we have a analytics and research unit called dunnhumby, which actually helps other retailers in terms of delivering analytics capability. And the fourth is our joint venture between the Tata Group and Tesco. It's called the Star Bazaar.
Right. Okay. So while we are on the subject of talking about people and talent, today industries around the world, in fact, and particularly in India, are facing a people challenge. We are not finding the right people with the right skills. At the same time, there is large-scale unemployment. There are layoffs happening in the IT sector. At Tesco Business Solutions, how are you dealing with this dichotomy that most industries are facing as far as people are concerned?
I remember just after pandemic, I heard something called the Great Resignation. I think it's an opportunity. I think if we look after our colleagues well, if we create an environment of success, which I believe it's leaders' primary job, I think you can convert the Great Resignation into great retention. So I don't think retention is a big issue for us. If I give you an example, around 13% of our colleagues are over 10 years with us. 23% of colleagues are over 5 years. So that gives us a fantastic platform. And we do a number of things. If you look at the reason why a colleague would leave a business is around, it's never about money. The number one thing is about their interaction with their manager and how good their manager is. The second reason is if the organization is connected to the purpose, a purpose or a vision, that's really important. And third thing around, are we providing enough career opportunity? And as you can imagine, with all the different functions that we deliver and supporting the global business of Tesco, it gives a fantastic base and a career opportunity for our colleagues. And we heavily invest actually on line manager capability, because it's not about Tesco in the first 6 to 11, 12 months. It's all about your interaction, how your manager makes you feel welcome. So we make a lot of investment in the first line manager capability to make sure colleagues are connected. And also to a purpose and vision, and through Vision 2020 and Mission 23, we've created a direction, an identity and a goal in terms of where we want to get to. And that creates immense pride in our people, and they really understand the direction that we are going, and that helps us to retain our colleagues. And to be honest, over the last 5 years, we haven't made a single redundancy.
Wonderful, wonderful to hear that in these times. So I know that you pay a lot of attention to culture, to inclusivity. What would you say is that secret sauce that makes Tesco a great place to work?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I'll start with a couple of things. One is, I believe our success is through our colleagues, and in my lifetime, I wouldn't see where I press a green button and technology would do everything. So we have to live with colleagues and our people, and we have to invest in them, and we need to look after them and make sure, as I said before, an environment of success for our colleagues. So let me talk about 3 or 4 things that really differentiates us. One is our campus in Bangalore. I mean, it's a 15-acre campus. It's lush green campus. There's so much opportunity to look after your own health in terms of walking around the campus. You don't have to have a meeting in a room. You can walk around the campus and have those meetings. Get the fresh air, and Bangalore weather is obviously really good. So that's really key, our campus, and I'll talk about in a minute in terms of how our campus actually connects to the purpose of the organization. The second thing is around, as I said, it's the vision, the direction, the strategy. Everybody wants a direction in terms of where they're going. And the third thing is around the career framework. We have something called Elevate in terms of how we leverage and give our colleagues a structured format in terms of how they can move around the business, learn new skills, and really up their the experience, the skills, knowledge and attributes in terms of how they can grow their career within Tesco. We call it Tesco is a place to get on. And we build an inclusive culture. It doesn't really matter to us where you come from, what sex, sexual orientation, what culture, what background you come from. What we care about is, are you bringing your best selves to work, and have we created an environment for you to be successful? And everybody is in that same platform. Our policies that we have is also really important to us in terms of how do we build inclusiveness in our policy. For example, we have insurance policy where we even support parents. It's free for our parents. We call it parents as partners. And I personally write letters to our colleagues' parents who have performed really well, and I get a lot of letters back to me, which it really connects the family together. We give insurance to same partners as well, which makes us inclusive and drives inclusivity within the business. And finally, I always say culture, it's strategy for breakfast. So it's really important that we build the right culture within the organization and create real role models where people can really look up to and see that how they've grown their career within the business. And that is the real differentiator for us in the business.
Right. So that's as far as employees are concerned. Let's also talk a little bit about the customers. Now, today's customer is extremely aware, is well-traveled, is tech-savvy. So to delight today's customer is actually a challenge for a lot of brands. At Tesco, how are you delivering customer experience? How are you transforming customer experience within the stores? And what role is India particularly playing for the company?
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about, a few years ago, we talked about the VUCA world. In retail, we talk about a perma crisis. Because if you think about COVID, the impact of COVID, the impact of post-COVID, obviously there was Brexit in the UK, and then also with the Ukraine and Russia war. So it feels like you're almost jumping from one crisis to another. So it's really important as a business to build that muscle memory to how do you manage those risks continuously and create value for the customer. We believe our customers is right at the heart and center of everything that we do. We exist because of our customers. So customer experience is not about how you actually take calls in a contact center or the product. It's about the whole encompassing experience. The moment you walk in the stores, is the store clean? Are you having a friendly face to support you? Is the products available on the shelf? Am I getting the right products that I want? Is the store layout easier for me to manage? And then when I'm shopping online, am I getting the right recommendation? Am I getting the right substitution in terms of if I don't have my product? Am I able to get my product when I want, how I want? We started something called Whoosh in the UK, where our customers can order their products and get it delivered within 30 minutes. If I want to click and collect, can I do that? I don't have to wait for a delivery. Can I book the right slots when I want it delivered? So Bengaluru plays a huge part, our team in India, in terms of whether it's technology, setting up those slots and helping with the grocery home shopping, or we developed a product called Bumblebee, which gives the best route for a driver to optimize route for a driver to go and deliver those products, or whether it's setting up those products, driving those promotions, or our contact centers taking calls for our customers, or even designing the store and getting feedback from our customers to design those future stores. We have something called a grab and go proposition, where in certain stores you don't need to pay for anything. You just walk into the stores, your club card gets connected, you get your club card discounts, and the money once you've shopped and walk out of the stores, it gets deducted to your credit card. So all that proposition, the technology, the process, the people, it's supported through Bangalore, working in partnership with our global team.
Wonderful. That's so exciting and so nice to hear. Well, on that note, let's take a short break right now. The conversation with Sumit Mitra, CEO of Tesco Business Solutions, continues on the other side. Stay with us. Welcome back. You are watching Forbes India Presents Transforming Global Retail, powered by Tesco. We're talking about the global business services industry, and I'm in conversation with Sumit Mitra, CEO of Tesco Business Solutions. Now, Sumit, let's talk a little bit about this recent award that you won. You've been awarded by SSON with the World's Best GBS Award for 2023. Give us a sense of how significant this recognition is in your industry.
This is significant and huge. If you look at SSON, they're one of the oldest shared service and outsourcing cohort they've built with the best GBS minds around the planet. Now, there are 36,000 shared services roughly around the world, and out of that probably 30, 40, 50 is around the true GBSs. And to come number one across those biggest GBSs, I feel extremely privileged, honored to win this award. And I know the amount of hard work that's gone in, whether it's through analytics, whether it's through interviewing me by the judging panel. And the judging panel was made up of practitioners, which makes it even so special for us.
Wonderful. So many congrats on that.
Thank you.
But what is it that the jury found great about Tesco? What made you really win that? And what would you say are your key differentiators?
I think 3 or 4 things. Number one is our seat on the table, where we have the ability, it's not just about having the seat on the table, but ability to influence the business to drive better outcomes. So how do we actually work with the Chief Product Officer? How do we work with CHRO? How do we work with our Chief Customer Officer, our CFO, to create a real difference? That's number one. Number two, about our clear vision and strategy in terms of how we are progressing and the incremental, the little better every day in terms of we are driving continuous improvement culture across the business. Our digital transformation capability, which is taking away anything that is mundane and task-based and moving our colleagues up the value chain to create more value. And the third thing around the culture that we have created across the business, I call it a possibility mindset, that nothing is impossible. How do we, this obsession of creating value for the group is a key differentiator, I believe, in the market.
Right. Okay, so let me shift gears a little bit and then talk about one of the biggest challenges, one of the biggest crises that we are facing in our lifetimes as individuals as well as corporations. The challenge of climate change, the emphasis on sustainability. Corporations around the world are now realizing that sustainability is not an option. Focusing on it is not an option. It is a business imperative. And I know that at Tesco, you've set a target of becoming net zero in operations by 2050. Give us a sense of, how you are achieving this. What are some of the best practices and steps that Tesco Business Solutions is taking in this regard?
Sure. We are one of the largest food retailers in Europe, and we own 29% almost market share in the UK. And it comes with a lot of responsibility to give something back. And we have a very clear purpose. Our purpose is serving our customers, communities, and planet a little better every day. We're not saying we will change the world tomorrow, but we're saying the little things that we do, how do we make it a huge difference? So I'll start off with, in terms of food waste. Since 16-17, we have reduced our food waste by 45%, and we want to get to as low as possible. The second thing around, if you think about the Paris Agreement 1.5c, it's about carbon emission reduction. And since 2015, we have reduced our carbon emission by 55% from a Tesco Group perspective. And this is very much focused through how do you use solar power to provide electricity in our stores and greener refrigeration, etc. Closer home in Tesco Bengaluru, I kicked off about 5 years ago in terms of how do we get 90% of our electricity through solar. And today I'm delighted to tell you we've hit the 90% number. Every single drop of water is actually recycled within our campus and then used it to make our campus green. And we are very proud that over the last 5-6 years, we've been one of the greenest campuses in India. And thirdly, every drop of food waste that we have is converted into biogas. And then we have a zero plastic policy within our campus. As we always say in Tesco, every little helps.
Absolutely, and those are some great steps in the right direction. So as the leader of the world's best GBS, what's your take on the industry? How do you see the GBS landscape evolving, particularly in India?
Absolutely. If you look at now, there is roughly about 1,400 GCCs in India. And I anticipate in the next 5 years, it almost going to double itself. So it's a huge growth engine, because what COVID has really taught us is that if you can work remotely, it can be done miles away as well. So it's really become a real driving force and a differentiator in the market. The future is no longer about labor arbitrage. It's no longer about driving efficiency, because that's given when you're setting up a GBS. But it's about how do you connect the dots across the different processes and really unlock those value, and how do you evolve yourself into this value generation machine that improves revenue, improves margin, improves working capital, so that you create that shareholder value. And it's no longer, like I said, about a cost-saving engine. It's about creating value back into the business, so that you build a better business and a better future for everyone.
Finally, what is it that you see next for Tesco Business Solutions in the next 4 to 5 years? Where do you envision the company?
Yeah, as like all good businesses do, we have launched our next 3-year strategy. We call it Odyssey 26. It is around how do you kind of convert your finance, your product, your functions into experience. Looking at end-to-end experience and a journey of a customer and improving that. How do you look at an end-to-end supplier journey and make that better? How do you look at end-to-end journey of your stakeholders that you work with, the partners that you work with, and build those sophisticated relationships so that you can drive value and unlock those value in the business, and really help Tesco to drive those decisions through data science and analytics. And we call it decision support. So these are kind of the key ingredient of the future of Tesco Business Solutions.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Sumit. Thank you so much for joining us, and all the very best for the future.
Thank you very much indeed. Pleasure talking to you.
With that, it's a wrap of this special conversation on Forbes India Presents Transforming Global Retail, powered by Tesco. Hope you enjoyed those valuable insights. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.